A very good morning to all of you. So today we will continue our topic, that is of SGS page. In previous session we have already studied what is the full form of SGS page, what is the role of SGS and how you will prepare the gel, stacking gel, resolving gel, and how you will prepare your sample. If you didn't watch that video, so first go through that video so that you can easily understand today's topic. Today we will discuss how the proteins are separated in that gel. Because once you have just prepared your apparatus, you have prepared all your resolving gel, stacking gel, your running buffer and your sample. Everything you have prepared, and after your preparation you put it in the electrophoretic chamber and you start the electric current. So electric field is generated. Now what happened inside your gel? How protein bands are separated in the gel? Today we will understand that. So before that you should have a basic idea what is isoelectric pH or PI. That is what is isoelectric pH. Isoelectric pH is also known as PI. So what is isoelectric pH? Every amino acid and protein have a particular pH at which all amino acids carry zero charge. All amino acids it carry no charge. That means all amino acids are neutral, or you can say they are neutral, because if they don't carry any charge, that means they are neutral in nature. So that particular pH is known as your PI. Got it? What is that particular pH is what? That particular pH is called PI. So what is isoelectric pH? Isoelectric pH is that pH at which any amino acid or any protein carry no charge, or it is neutral in nature. Okay, and such kind of ion at isoelectric pH is known as zwitterion. Okay, zwitterion. So what is zwitterion? Suppose for example is a glycine. So glycine, this is the structure of your glycine. Okay, this is the structure of your what? This is the structure of your glycine. So the PI value, that is PI value of this glycine is 5.8, and this is the structure of your glycine. Okay, structure of your glycine, and PI value of glycine is 5.8, means at the 5.8 pH this glycine carry no net charge. What does it mean, no net charge? This means it carry equal positive and equal negative charge. Okay, so being a equal positive and negative charge, these charges cancel each other. So net charge on this glycine is 0 at your 5.8 pH. And now this exists as a what? This exists as your zwitterion. Now got it? What is zwitterion? So zwitterion is nothing. This is the ion which carry no net charge. Because of having equal positive and equal negative charge, both these charges will cancel each other. So overall net charge on that molecule is 0. That is, that molecule is neutral in nature. Okay, and at that pH, this zwitterion exists. That pH is known as your PI or your isoelectric point. Got it? So this is the basic concept. And on this concept, our protein separation will take place in SGS page. Okay, so let us understand how this isoelectric point play a role. So first we will draw our SGS page. Okay. This is our glass plate. Okay. And here what? Here is your resolving gel. Okay, already we have studied in our previous video. Here you will fill your stacking gel. Okay, and what is the pH of this resolving gel? pH is that of 8.8, and stacking gel pH is that of 6.8. Okay, and here you fill pour your sample. These are the wells, and in this well you will pour your sample, and sample having what? Having your tris HCl and your SGS protein complex, isn't it? As we have studied, while you will prepare your sample, you will put tris HCl to maintain the buffer, and there is a SGS protein complex. SGS what? It is sodium dodecyl sulfate, and it is a anionic detergent. So it will provide all proteins a uniform negative charge. So the charge overall here is negative. Okay. And what is the pH? What is the pH? The pH of this is also 6.8. Okay. And here you will put your, in between electrodes, you will put your running buffer. Running buffer. Okay. And in running buffer, there is a tris glycine. And what is the pH? And pH is that of your 6.3. Okay. So what will happen in this gel? How proteins are separated in this gel? Let's understand that. Okay. So first thing we will get, what first thing we will get? First, you from this tris HCl, you will get your chloride ions. Okay. First thing, from this, what is the role of this tris HCl? From this tris HCl, you will get your chloride ions. Okay. And chloride ions, you know, the charge on the chloride is your negative charge. Okay. And second thing is your SGS protein complex, which you have prepared your sample, and it also carry overall your negative charge. And third here is your what? Glycine. Glycine is what? Simplest amino acid. So three things are there. First is that of chloride ions, next your SGS protein complex, and your glycine. So what happened? What happened, as I told you before, the PI value of this glycine is 5.8. Okay. And when you will put, that means at 5.8 pH this glycine carry no charge, that is no net charge, that is at 5.8 pH the net charge on glycine is 0, and it exists at this pH as a deuterion. But if you will put this glycine in acidic medium, and suppose your pH is 2.3, then what will happen? Then this glycine will be what? Protonated and carry positive charge. Okay. Once again, at this PI value of 5.8, this glycine carry no charge. That is, net charge on this glycine is 0, that is neutral. But if you will put this glycine in a acidic medium, suppose the pH of that acidic medium is 2.3, then acidic medium is having what? H plus ions, no? H plus ions. So that ions give positive charge to the glycine, and glycine become your protonated. Okay. And it will carry overall your positive charge. And if you will put this glycine in alkaline medium, and suppose pH is around 9.6, then in alkaline medium, that means there is a OH minus ions are more as compared to hydrogen ions. Okay. So that in that medium it become deprotonated, and being a deprotonated, the overall charge on glycine is negative. Okay, got it? Do you understand this concept? Because it's very important to understand, then and then only you are able to understand how this glycine will move in this gel. Once again, the PI value of glycine is 5.8. That is, this is the isoelectric pH, and at this value of pH 5.8, this glycine carry no net charge, that is neutral. Okay. But if you will put this glycine into acidic medium having what? Acidic medium having more H plus ions. So at acidic medium, the glycine becomes protonated, and in acidic medium, that glycine will carry the positive charge. Okay. And suppose if you will put this glycine in your alkaline medium, then alkaline medium having more OH minus ions. Okay. Suppose pH is 9.6. Okay. Then OH minus, then at this alkaline pH, glycine is what? It is deprotonated, and become deprotonated, it carry your negative charge. Got it? So now what happens in this gel? So first let's understand first what happened in your stacking gel. So out of the chloride, protein and your glycine, this chloride ions are smallest in size. Okay. And as you remember from your previous knowledge of electrophoretic class which I have taken, the molecules which are smaller in size move faster as compared to the molecules in the larger size. Okay. So first ions which it move in stacking gel is that of your chloride ions. And here is what? Here is your positive charge and here is negative charge electrode. Okay, while you will set up your electrophoretic chamber, then here is your positive charge and here is your negative charge. So being a negative charge, it will move from where? Negative to positive, so it will move towards positively charged electrode. Okay, so first in stacking gel, first ion which is separated is that of your chloride ion. Okay, second ion out of glycine and SDS protein, which comes second? Second is your SDS protein complex will be there. Okay, first is your this one, second is your SDS protein. And what is the third? Third is your glycine. So let's understand why glycine is third here. As the pH of this stacking gel is what? 6.8. Okay, and at this 6.8 pH, glycine is what? Glycine is somewhat negative to neutral because its pI value is 5.8. So 6.8 is close to the 5.8. So glycine carry almost negative to neutral charge in it. Okay, so being a neutral charge and chloride is smaller in size and negative charge, so it moves first. And SDS protein, you know, carry overall, all proteins carry negative charge, so it will be later on, and glycine being neutral, so it is in the third in position. Okay, so by this all proteins are separated in this gel. Now why it is known as stacking gel? It is known as stacking gel because this SDS protein is stacked in between your glycine and chloride. Got it? Stacking means what? Sandwich in between, no? That the something lie in between, that is stack. So why it is stacking gel? Because this SDS protein is stacked in between your glycine and chloride. Okay, that's why the name stacking gel is given. Okay, because this question can be asked in Viva frequently, why this gel is known as stacking gel. So this gel is known as stacking because SDS protein is stacked in between your chloride ions and your glycine. Now let's understand why it is important to separate this in the stacking gel. Why we didn't use only directly the resolving gel? Because the function of a stacking gel is that proteins will stack in between and all proteins will come over here, stacking gel. So final your separation and your protein band will be formed more clearly, because if we will just separate this, suppose there is no stacking gel and we put our sample and there is only resolving gel was there, then is it possible to all the proteins, whether possible some proteins will come here, some proteins will come here, and it's not. So you didn't get a proper band. So it's very difficult to separate out the proteins on molecular weight. Okay, so the stacking gel, role of a stacking gel is that it will separate all the proteins from the sample and stack in between your glycine and chloride ions. Got it? Now understand what happened here. What happened is your dissolving gel. So the pH of your dissolving gel is 8.8. It is somehow in alkaline in nature. Okay. So in this 8.8 pH, as you know, chloride are the smallest ion. Okay. So chloride ion always comes first and carry negative charge, so it will come first. Now this scenario is changed now in dissolving gel, because the pH is 8.8 and at 8.8 pH now glycine will carry negative charge because it is alkaline medium. So at 8.8 pH glycine become deprotonated, and being deprotonated at this pH in dissolving gel, glycine will carry your negative charge, and glycine is smaller in size as compared to your SDS protein complex. So second is here in dissolving gel is your glycine. Got it? So first is your chloride and second is your glycine, and third is your SDS protein or sample which you want to separate out. Okay, and third is your SDS protein. Got it? So this is the sequence how these molecules come in your dissolving gel. And SDS protein, there are different kinds of protein in your sample mixture, and these proteins are separated on what? These proteins are separated on the basis of their molecular weight. These proteins are separated on the basis of their molecular weight. Suppose these are the different proteins, okay, and these are separated on their, this is the smaller one, move faster, and this move faster is compared to that, and this is the suppose largest protein, and it moves very slow. So upper band is that of protein which having a very large molecular weight, okay. So such kind you will get your protein bands in your resolving gel. Got it? So this is the mechanism how proteins are separated in your stacking gel, and after that how you will finally get the protein band in your resolving gel. Alright. Now the question comes, suppose you will get this different kind of bands, then how you will know what is the molecular weight of this separated protein? For that you have some marker, na? Because suppose these proteins are separated, but you don't have any marker. This protein is there, this protein is there. How you will compare these marker? So for comparing this, in the first well, you will fill the marker protein. In all others, you will put your sample, but in first, this is the first well, and in this first well, you will put your marker protein. Marker protein means that protein whose molecular weight is known. Okay. Suppose this is, and this form a band like this. Suppose it is a marker protein and it will form a band like this, and suppose its molecular weight is around 60,000 Dalton. Okay, so 60,000 Dalton, and suppose the molecular weight of this is 45,000 Dalton, for example. Okay, so if a band of protein you will get here, from this is a sample and this protein band is separated, suppose you will get this band. So now you can easily understand, okay, I will get this band of protein, that means the molecular weight of this protein is around 60,000, because it is in front of this marker protein. Understand how you will get the molecular? Again understand it. This phenomenon I hope you will understand. So in first well you will put your marker protein. Marker protein is, why it is known as marker? Because the molecular weight of this protein is known by you. You know very well what is the molecular weight of these protein bands. Already you know it very well, okay? And these are also separated along with your sample protein, and this is your sample. This is your marker, this green one is your marker, and this is your sample. And you will get such kind of band, protein band, and you want to know the molecular weight, you are interested, and you know you are like enthusiastic, very enthusiastic to know what is the molecular weight of this protein. Then how you will know? Then you can see, okay, this is in front of this marker protein, and you know the molecular weight of this marker protein is 60,000 Dalton. So that means the molecular weight of your separated protein is around 60,000 Dalton. Okay, so by this you can easily calculate the molecular weight, and by this separation you can understand what is the molecular weight of your protein mixture by this marker. Okay. Now what you will do after that, you will get your protein band. Okay. Then in a gel, that agarose gel, you will get all kind of band, and your band is which color? Your band is, you will get blue color band. Why? Because as you know, we will add in our sample what? Bromophenol blue. And what is the role of that bromophenol blue? It acts as a tracking dye. Okay. So it will track the path of your protein, and it will give blue color to that your protein band. Okay. The next step is that, what next step after? Suppose this is your gel. This is your agarose gel. Okay. You will take out the agarose gel and you will get your protein bands here. Suppose this is your protein band. Okay. This is your protein band, this is your sample mixture, and you will get such kind of protein band. After that, what you will do? You will put it into your stain solution. Okay. You will put your gel into, first you will wash your gel with the distilled water, and after that you will put it in a stain. Suppose this is your petri dish. This is your petri dish. Okay. And in this petri dish there is a stain solution. What stain solution contain? It contain 50% your methanol plus 10% of your acetic acid and your dye, that is your various type of stain dye are used, like Kumasi dye and your like Sudan black, etc. But most commonly in the lab, most of the lab are using your this Kumasi blue. Okay, this Kumasi blue dye is used in maximum 90% labs are using this stain dye, that is Kumasi blue, because it is cheap and easily available. So 90% labs are using for staining purpose that of Kumasi blue. So after your gel, suppose this is your gel and you will put your gel over here. Okay, this is your agarose gel and you will put that your agarose gel in a petri dish, and that petri dish contain your 50% your methanol, 10% your acetic acid and your Kumasi blue dye. What is the percentage of this Kumasi blue? It is around 0.1%. Got it? And you will put in this dye up to what? For up to 12 hours. You was up to 12 hours, you will just leave this your gel in your this stain solution. After 12 hours come over, then you will take off this and you will repeat it. You will do your repeated washing. Or you can say that process is known as de-staining. Okay, de-staining. De-staining, what solution you will use? You will use 50% methanol for de-stain your and 10% of your acetic acid. This is the composition of your de-stain solution. Okay, what you will do? You will get your protein separated band on your gel. First you will put that agarose gel in your stain solution for up to 12 hours, and that stain solution contain 50% methanol, 10% acetic acid and your 0.1% of your Kumasi blue, and you will leave that gel for up to 12 hours, and after 12 hours will over, you will just take out that gel and you will put it into a de-staining solution, or you can do de-staining with the help of by repeated washing. Once you will put the de-stain solution, then you will throw it, again you will put de-stain solution, again you will throw it, so at least 10 to 12 times you will do this de-staining process. Okay, and after that you will just keep your gel for UV exposure or by heat. By UV exposure or by heating, you will save it for your future work. Suppose you will preserve it and you keep it yourself. Suppose in near future you want it for any research purpose or other, so you will store it in like that day your gel. So this is all about your SGS page process, how you will get your protein bands, how protein bands are separated in the gel, and how you will stain that your gel, and how you will finally store or preserve your final gel in which you will get your protein bands. And how you will compare your protein band? Compare your protein band molecular weight on the basis of your the marker protein which you have put in the first well. Okay, by this you can easily compare what is the molecular weight of your protein. So you can easily understand, okay, this protein having such kind of molecular weight, that means this protein is this one. Okay, so basically the SGS page application, what is the application? So main application of SGS page is that it is basically used for the separation of protein on the basis of their molecular weight only. Okay, no charge, no size, nothing. No charge, no shape. Okay, only on the basis of molecular weight proteins are separated, because SGS give all proteins to the uniform charge. Okay, so this is all about your SGS page, and before that you must read that of first part of your SGS page. After that you will just see this video so that you can easily understand the concept, and it is very important topic for the PG students. Okay, so thank you so much. That's all for today.